The U.S. nonprofit Digital Dollar Project said on Monday it will launch 5 pilot programs over the next 12 months to test the potential uses of a U.S. central bank digital currency, the first effort of its kind in the United States. The private sector pilots initially will be funded by consulting firm Accenture PLC and involve financial firms, retailers, and NGOs, among others. The aim is to generate data that could help U.S. policymakers develop a digital dollar. Here's an excerpt from an interview granted to CoinDesk by Senior Managing Director at Accenture, David Treat, and Christopher Giancarlo, former chairman of the U.S. Commodities and Futures Trade Commission.
Privacy has been long held as a tradition at the heart of our financial system. And so the ability to configure the technology to meet those demands of society, I think, is the incredibly interesting work ahead of us. The technology does afford the ability to have both.
Our whole initiative is geared toward pushing the United States to a leadership role in that debate over the future of money and what values are going to prevail. Are they going to be traditional values of individual privacy that have long been the norm in the West and in democracies? Or are they going to be the values of social credit scores and social surveillance? That really is the core issue, and that's really why we feel it's so important for the United States and the other democracies to assert leadership in this new technology and not allow our non-democratic economic competitors to dominate the value setting, the rules, the protocols, and where the digital future of money is headed.
All right. Joining us to discuss further from our Abuja studios, Charles Okaformbah, who is a blockchain solutions architect and co-founder of Convexity. Charles, thank you so much for joining us. In that clip, the first gentleman that spoke, David Treat, Senior Managing Director of consulting firm Accenture, he said privacy has long been at the heart of the U.S. financial system, and configuring the technology, digital currencies, to meet those demands as part of the work ahead for the Digital Dollar Project. Is that possible? Can privacy be maintained by digital currency run by a central bank?
Okay. Hi, Rotus. Good morning once again. When it comes to government and privacy, I think that's very dicey. Government will always want to snoop to know. It's more of like your nosy neighbor. So they really want to know what is going on and all that. So now, if you look at the blockchain system and how the blockchain system works, the blockchain system makes use of what we call PKI, right, which is a public key infrastructure itself. And a public key infrastructure actually makes use of a public key and a private key. And when you are dealing in the public blockchain itself, you don't actually need to disclose your details, right? What you just need is your public key, and that is what is being recorded in the space. Then the person you are interacting with don't need to know who you are, right? So that maintains the privacy and anonymity of the blockchain system. Now, when you go to like an exchange to deal in crypto and all that, they collect your data. Now, why are they collecting your data? They are collecting that data in order for them to be able to map it to the account or the public key that has been created from the blockchain, so that as you are dealing in the blockchain world, as you are sending cryptos to one person or the other and all that, it is being tracked easily. So if there's anything to be tracked, if there's any case that has come up, they can easily map, know who owns this blockchain address and then the user. And that is why they collect your details. Now, coming down to the government, the central bank, digital currency, and privacy, it is very dicey because the government has already forced crypto exchanges in the public sector, right, in the public space, to do KYC, to collect details of people in order for them to be able to track it. Now, this is a project that the government is going to run by itself. So definitely they are going to collect your details. Definitely they are going to monitor your transactions. But how deep are they going to go with that, or how frequent, or how they are going to manage that is yet to be seen. So we don't know how they want to do that. But achieving privacy on the public blockchain will not actually work. Definitely they will track your data, and most likely they are going to use a private blockchain for their solution itself.
Okay, great stuff. So I want to compare this with the last time you were on the show. We talked about China and them testing their digital Yuan in Shanghai. China is going in the opposite direction. They are tracking everything. So how do you balance that with China saying they will track all these transactions on their digital currency, and then the US saying that, well, they're trying to see if they can still obtain privacy? You've already said you don't think the privacy works. So I guess China is the one going in the obvious direction here.
Okay, well, for me, I think China is being honest with what they want to do with their digital yuan compared to the US, right? Because even currently, there is an advisory from the Financial Action Task Force, that is FATF, regarding how virtual asset service providers, that is the digital currency exchanges, should operate. And they've already tried to, the enforcement will start, I think, by July of this year or so. And what does that entail? It entails that when you are sending transaction, or when you're sending a crypto to somebody else, your detail should be attached to the crypto you are sending. That is that transaction you are sending. If it is going from one exchange to the other, your biodata should, or your details should also be sent alongside that. So if this is already in place in the public blockchain or in the public space, definitely, I don't think the US would want to go against such a rule, because it's binding to all members of the organization itself. And again, the US security, or the US government, they already have tools they use in tracking crypto transactions in this space. So we're already seeing tracking, right? Tracking is already going on, even from the US government itself. But how far they are going to go with such tracking, and the purpose of such tracking, is what is yet to be seen. Or maybe when there is an issue, then we see that happening in the space.
There seems to be, at every point, there seems to be some form of competition between the United States and China. G7 meeting, we just talked about that in the last segment. US said they don't want to hold back China's progress. Christopher Giancarlo, let's take a look at a quote from him here, former chair of the US Commodity Futures Trade Commission. He said the US doesn't need to be the first central bank digital currency, but it does need to be a leader in setting standards for the digital future of money, which is why our pilot testing collaboration with Accenture and other partners is so critical. You know, we talked about last time China leaving everybody behind, last time you were on the show. So what do you make of what he's saying? He said they don't need to rush, they just need to be a leader in protocols. What do you make of his statement?
Yeah, well, China has been working on this since like 2014, so they have an edge currently. To build a central bank digital currency actually needs data, and also needs the right form of DTL. That is, digital ledger technology, that's DLT. We have blockchain as one of the DLT, so there are others, and there are lots of solutions out there. So the government will need data in order for them to be able to create a suitable digital currency. And then creating a digital currency from the government's perspective, it won't be that easy, because they need to think about fractional banking, the banks creating money, and then it is the central bank that will be minting out this coin. They need to think about distribution, how they are going to distribute it, if it is going to be a retail form of distribution that is directly to the individuals, or if it is going to go through banks. They need to think about the fiat that will be printed for people that are financially excluded. So there is a whole lot of discussion that needs to go into creating a digital currency, and data is needed. So this for me is actually a right step for them to go do. It's actually a right step to go. Yeah.
Speaking of right steps, this move has, I think we only got less than a minute to go. This move has nothing to do with the 30 seconds. This move has nothing to do with the U.S. government. It's private initiative. Yes or no? Is that how innovation is supposed to be put forward here?
Well, yeah, DLT is already there, out there for them to use. So I believe they are working their way towards making use of DLT, even it is from the private sector itself, to gather enough data for them to use.
Charles Okaformbah, Blockchain Solutions Architect, co-founder, Convexity, thank you so much for your time. We'll have to have you back to talk about more. Take it easy.